Hey everyone, Nubkeks here. Welcome to my patch notes review for, in fact, let's switch over to the patch notes. Here we go. For the PTR here, March 6, 2017, we got a lot of big changes. We got Probius, we got all the updates to the party frames, everything like that. We got big changes to Terial, Johanna, in fact, as well. Cho'Gall, complete rework. Gazlowe, big rework too. Other heroes as well. Oh, there's so much stuff. We'll dive through it. I'm going to guide you through all the talents. Arthas, that's another one. Anub'Arak too. They've also got reworked as well. I'll guide you through all of that, and we'll reference the in-game stuff too. So yeah, it should be pretty exciting. By the way, if you do enjoy the content, make sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more too. If you're new to the channel, I'm going to be covering all of these new heroes, or all the reworks, all the changes, everything on the PTR will be up on the channel over the next few days. So don't go anywhere if you want to catch all of that. Let me actually move my webcam to the side so that it's interfering as little as possible with the text here. Alright, great stuff. Here we go. Cho'Gall quest is going to be back, guys. So if you don't own Cho'Gall, you will be able to get a hold of that hero, or those two heroes, really, very, very handily. So winning 2 games as Cho'Gall with a player who does own them will permanently unlock the hero. So yeah, pretty nice way. So you will be able to get Cho'Gall if you don't own Cho'Gall already once the patch comes live. Should be out not this Wednesday, but the next Wednesday or Tuesday, depending on what region you're in. Probius is out as well. I'll tell you what, guys, I'm not actually going to go through all of Probius's stuff here because I'm going to be doing a Probius video right after this, and I already had one a couple of days ago detailing all of his abilities and indeed all of his talents on top of that. So if you want to find that stuff out, go check those videos out instead. We're going to power on ahead with the patch notes. We got a general change that ability power debuff effects will now display an effect on hero health bars. That's actually a pretty big deal. That's a pretty big change, and definitely indicating that they want to include more and more AP debuff effects in the game. I mean, Chen can do one. I believe Probius can do one now as well. We'll see in these talents. I haven't looked at every single one. Perhaps there will be some talents here that will include that as well. Or else, I don't know, just they're planning to bring more and more of that stuff into the game. Much like there's attack speed slows and so on, some ability power reductions. Very interesting. Some different art and icons coming up as well. Cho'Gall, lots of stuff updated for Cho'Gall, which is great. And then also Cleanse is going to have some new visual effects. Not sure exactly what that's going to be. We'll find that out during the games that we're going to play over the next couple of days. And then Arthas, his basic attacks, have received new animation adjustments. So basically, to give you a quick preview of that, I saw that when I was looking through the notes, is that Arthas, he's going to be more mobile while he's doing his attacks. Like, I think they're saying he gets stuck for a shorter period of time after he does a basic attack. So, you know, you can hit and then you're able to move faster afterwards. I think that's how it's going to work.
New follower detected.
Thank you for the follow, Ars Duncan. Awesome stuff. Over in the shop then, we have some interesting stuff. We got some new bundles. Stars of War bundle. Not sure what that's going to include. Probably like the Star Princess Li Ming, Space Sword Leoric, I would assume. I don't think it's in the game yet. We can check. It is not. This is, by the way, the Probius bundle. I, however, own Probius already. But yeah, basically new bundles, and the Blades of Destruction stuff will be leaving, so grab that if you want to. There's going to be the Elemental Stag and Epic Elemental Stag, so you get the Elemental one, the regular one, for Platinum or above in Hero League, or Bronze or above in Team League, so play your Bronze, your Team League placement games, and you will guarantee yourself the Elemental Stag. If you haven't got that through Hero League yet, you've got about a week to do so. The Epic one is for Master League, in Hero League, and in Team League as well, so pretty difficult to get the Epic one. But it is quite cool and a nice reward for pushing those ranks. Felseeber, Spectre, Phantom are going to be coming back, excuse me, and then iPad and Hellbore are going to be removed for a while. And yeah, just some Probius stuff, nothing too fancy. There's some really weird noise in my house. I don't know what that is. I kind of want to go investigate, but I don't want to ruin the video. Okay, so if your matchmaking queue, something happens, if it gets cancelled, someone disconnects and you don't go into the game, you're going to be notified when your hero's client is minimized now. So no more like sitting like I am here, then coming back and like, is my queue popped? Oh, someone disconnected. I've been sitting here not in the queue. So that's kind of nice. The color of the ring that appears on their player's hero has been changed from yellow to green. I guess that's in-game. I'm colorblind, so I don't really know. In-game user interface changes. We got the stats. These stats are now displayed in the character sheet. Physical armor and spell armor. I think that's good. I'd honestly prefer it on like the ability bar as well. Make it even more clear because it's such a big deal. But this is at least something for now. There is some sort of in-game representation, so we got that. There's going to be allies and enemies party frames. You're going to see these in all of the videos I'm going to be doing in the next couple of days. But yeah, they're going to be across the top of the screen. You see information on every single player in the game will tell you what hero they're playing, their respawn timers, their heroic abilities, which one they've chosen, and show whether they're on fire or not. Now, for your own team, not for the enemy team, only for your team, it shows their current health and mana, it shows the cooldowns on their heroics, and then it shows when they're heartstoning too, but not for the enemy team, just for your own team. For those. And then you've got their team levels, XP, and all this stuff in the middle too. It'll also there'll be a blinking indicator that will show when you're about to get a talent in the next level, which is great. And then, I don't know how it works with Chromie. I guess Chromie just has to know. And then if one team has a talent tier advantage over the other, they'll be on fire in that sort of pane up at the top, just to indicate that. And yeah, basically, it's all the stuff that if you're playing Hero League at a good level, that you're already doing and paying attention to. That's now more obvious. I think it's a really good addition, especially for newer players, less experienced players, less highly skilled players, just to make it even more obvious and easier for people to find out that information. There's so much stuff going on in the game. It's a very difficult game, very complex. There's so much stuff to be thinking about. Just making that aspect of the game easier and more intuitive, and you can just grab onto it quicker. I think that's a really good thing and should improve the play at all levels, really, that little bit. On fire effects have returned. I've mentioned this as well already in that the video I did a couple of days ago covering all of this in more detail if you want to check that out. But yeah, you go on fire. There's 2 different levels of on fire effects. Only 3 players can be on fire. You lose it if you die. It's based on your improvements, on your performance. So like you get a lot of XP, you get lots of siege damage, you're getting lots of kills, you haven't died, that sort of thing. All that stuff will combine. It's basically like the MVP screen, kind of shown a little bit in game, basically, with this being on fire. It can be for your team and the enemy team, and kind of like pinpoint which heroes are performing really well for each team. And that should actually have a pretty interesting effect on the strategy, kind of going like, oh, the enemy team's Tracer's on fire, like we really want to focus that hero more than we have been doing. Could actually have a pretty big impact on gameplay. It'll be interesting to see how that pans out as we go forwards here. There's also now a kill feed, which is gonna basically in the top left screen, which will show kill streaks, who's killed who, that sort of thing. Just a bit more detail, make things a bit more clear as well, pretty nice. And then some overall UI polish. Hotbars on the bottom, portraits, health bars, quest progress, all that stuff's updated. The score screen, the talent screen, the death recap screen, all updated as well. I think it's going to look fantastic. I think the best thing to do is just check out one of the videos that's going to be coming up in the next couple of days to just actually see that in action. That's probably the best way to get a feel for that. Improvements been made to allied body blocking. I don't know what that means. I guess you body block your allies a little bit less often. So that's quite nice, I suppose. Kind of interesting that they tweaked that. This one is very interesting to me. I'm not sure exactly what this means. There's not enough detail here in the patch notes. I'll have to come back to you on what exactly this has done. We have the ability to scale damage based on game time elapsed, which should help the performance of the game, but also more accurately adjust damage values of certain abilities. So for Li Ming's Arcane Orb, her W, and Tyrande Sentinel, her W, and they're going to look for other use cases. I'm really, I don't know what this is. I assumed that these normally scaled off your level, but now they're saying that they're scaling off time elapsed in the game. So I have no idea, does this interact with your level scaling? Or will this like scale regardless of that? So that, okay, if it's scaling based off time, you're actually going to be weaker now when you're ahead in the game because you're just scaling statically by time. Or when you're behind, you're going to be stronger because you're scaling by time. I'm very confused as to exactly what this means or why this is in. I like the sound of it will help with the performance, but then I'm also very confused. I'd love some clarification on this, and we'll talk about that when I know in a video as to how does this interact with level scaling and what exactly is the scaling. As far as I can tell, there's no info on that in the patch notes, unfortunately. Not yet. Here are descriptions. Some are updated. Hooray. We've got some Brawl stuff. Don't care. Read that yourself. I don't care. Waygate usage is now more consistent. So Towers of Doom, Haunted Mines. That's not relevant to us. Blackheart's Revenge. There's no Waygate in Haunted Mines. Oh, I guess they mean like the mine entrances. Okay. So here we go. Mine entrances and then the Waygate from the center, in the center of Towers of Doom. Using these or getting to them Channels will not be interrupted by taking normal damage. They'll be interrupted by stuns and knockbacks, and then it can now be channeled while mounted as well, so they won't like dismount you or anything like that. So just making it a bit more consistent, that's cool. It's funny that they're called Waygates and Haunted Mines. I suppose that is actually what they are. It's just weird to think of it that way. Now we got a bunch of changes. Let's dive into them. Gall, first up, Cho'Gall. In fact, we might just look at Cho and Gall and just zip around to each one of those. Right, let's do it. So, a bunch of damage nerfs, but then a new trait to complement it. So your Q as Gall, way less damage. Your W, smaller radius, that's a pretty big deal, less damage as well. Runic Blast, you no longer destroy the bomb when you activate it. It will persist, but it does less damage when you activate it. Twisting Nether, less damage. Shadowbolt Volley, less damage. But a new trait to complement that, or to make up for that instead, which is Ogre Rage. You can turn this on. It gives you 25% more damage. It's a 5-second cooldown. And this is basically this sort of tug of war between Cho and Gall. They each have a trait, but only one can be active at a time. And if one player activates theirs, it deactivates the other players. So it does require some like teamwork and coordination. Gall's one is it gives 25% more damage. So it'll basically bring you back to somewhere along the lines of the damage you were normally doing before. And Cho's one is that it gives him armor. So you have to choose, and you have to work that out between the two players. Do we want to turn on the damage one, or do we want to turn on the armor one? You can have a bit of a problem if, you know, you're fighting over it, you don't do it properly, and you're kind of stuck, locked out from 5 seconds from the one you should actually be using at the time. So that's quite interesting. Hurry Up Oath is removed. You basically have a new mount ability now. Gall G, Greymane, Gall G. Here he is. Perfect. So, instead of your mount ability... Oh, the game kind of froze there. Okay, well, it's just shove, basically. The old shove that he had. Does it not tell us here? That's kind of bad. But yeah, I do know this, because I was listening to the deep dive. Is it not indicated here anywhere? Well, basically, you don't have your mount ability is basically the old shove talent, right? I might say it here. Shove, move to Z. Okay, here we go. Shove, move to Z. It's a 30-second cooldown. You shove Cho in whatever direction you want as Gall, and then it gives him 25% move speed for 2 seconds afterwards. So, I don't know if that works out as a buff or a nerf or what. Overall, so far, it looks like a bit of a nerf to Gall because you're reliant on your trait to do damage. Eye of Kilrog also moved to level 1. It's not a talent anymore, if I'm not... Yeah, this just lowers the cooldown. So Eye of Kilrog is now just a default thing that you have. You only have 2 charges, and the cast range is smaller, but you always have Eye of Kilrog by default. So you got more gameplay in using Shove, just by default, and having Eye of Kilrog there as well. Let's take a look at his talents. We're actually going to go through the talents in the game here, just to make it a little bit more clear. By the way, this is what this new trait is going to look like. Ogre Rage. You get 25% damage, but reduce Cho's armor by 25. Cho has Ogre Hide. He gets 25 armor, but reduces Gall's damage by 25%. Pretty interesting stuff. Sorry, this is Cho. Go away. All right. Am I going to clip any of these? I'm just checking. No, it looks like my head doesn't clip any. Good. All right, so your talents for Gall right here. Level 1, we've got Keep Moving. Increase the duration of shoves. Move speed bonus by half a second. And Cho's basic attacks against heroes increase the duration of an active shove by 1 second. Pretty interesting stuff. Taskmaster. Reduce Shove's cooldown by 10 seconds. And every time Cho's hit by a basic attack, it reduces the cooldown of Shove by 1 second. Or then We See You decreases the cooldown of Eye of Kilrog by 15 seconds, and its range is increased by 33%. I don't know if this is the cast range or the vision range. I'm not sure. Double Back then. Level 4, we've got a few options. Double Back, you can reactivate Dread Orb to reverse the third bounce. Activate it before the second bounce ends to reverse the direction of the third bounce. Okay. And the third bounce deals 100% more damage to non-heroic targets. I kind of like that it's now a choice, so it's more gameplay for Gall, which is great, because obviously he doesn't control the movements. Runic Persistence. Your Rune Blast deals additional damage over 3 seconds in an area around the detonation point, so it leaves some sort of dot on the floor, some sort of burning fire you don't want to stand in. Cool. Bombs Away. Damaging hero with Rune Blast increases its damage by 5 after 20 times, so 100 bonus damage. The range and speed of the bomb is increased by 20%. Cool. Level 7 then, we got Edge of Madness. Every subsequent hit of Shadow Flame against the same enemy hero deals additional 8% damage to a maximum of 40%. The bonuses are lost if the hero has not been hit for 4 seconds. What's the cooldown on that? It's like 3 seconds. Okay, so you really do have to be chaining that and hitting every single one, and you stack up more and more damage. Alternatively, double trouble. If it hits a hero that is afflicted by the consuming blaze, the cooldown is reduced by 1 second. After hitting 20 heroes, the cooldown is instead permanently reduced by 1 second. Alright, so every time you're landing this quest, every time you land your Q, it reduces on... Again, the Cho's ability is Consuming Blaze. It's 12 seconds. It's a 5-second dot. So if you land Gall's... I should know how to use this more better. You land your Q on them, it knocks a second off the cooldown, becomes a 2-second cooldown. You can get actually 2 of those off. So you hit one, get a second off, 2 seconds, hit another one, 2 seconds, hit another one. You could probably get 3 off within a single W from Cho. So you get a lot of cooldown reduction. And once you've done that 20 times... You basically just get a permanent second off Shadow Flame. Pretty cool. Ogre Rampage. Your basic abilities cooldown 75% faster for 5 seconds after Cho activates Ogre Hide. Oh, that's pretty interesting. That's very interesting. Cool. These are the same. They just do less damage, apart from your trait. Level 13 then, Searing Shadows. Enemy heroes hit by Shadow Flame take an additional 2% of their max health as damage. Alright, cool. Could work pretty well with the cooldown reduction there. Rising Dread. Each bounce of Dread Orb increases its radius by 25% and damage by 25%. Or Twilight Nova. After the first bounce of Dread Orb, 2 extra bombs bounce to the sides 1. So a big damage tier right here. Again, that might synergize well with reduced cooldown, and increasing the radius and damage might synergize pretty well with being able to bring it back and doing more damage to non-hero targets. That could work kind of well. Level 16 then, Shadow Snare. Shadow Flame slows enemy heroes by 10% for 4 seconds, and the effect can stack up to 3 times. Leaden Orb. Dread Orb stuns enemy heroes for half a second. That's a pretty big deal. Deafening Blast. Runic Blast silences enemy heroes for 1.25 seconds. A huge talent tier, adding a bunch of CC options to Gall. I like this a lot. That's a really big deal. Level 20 then. Pierces. Twisting Nether now teleports Cho to a target location before it begins channeling. That's kind of cool, so you can actually use it as like an escape or something like that, or a really big engage. The Will of Gall. Takedowns permanently increase the bonus damage bonus of Ogre Rage by 2%. It appears this does not have a cap, which is intriguing. Yeah, I think this doesn't have a cap, so just like late game Cho'Gall Insanity. Takedowns just permanently increase the damage bonus you get from your trait, just forever. Now, it's not actually going to add up to too much in most games, but still kind of cool. Psychotic Break then, or Psychotic Break, sorry, upon dying. Gall gains Ogre Rage and can use basic abilities for 10 seconds. So you become the super duper turret, basically, for 10 seconds after death. Kind of cool. Very interesting stuff, and interesting changes to Gall. Let's actually zip over to Cho, and then we'll come back to the other assassins. I want to just cover Cho first. Max base health hugely reduced, and health regen down a bit too. That's like almost 600 HP gone. Pretty big deal. That's a lot. Okay, then his Q, the cooldown slightly reduced. The maximum range has been reduced. The full charge up duration has been reduced to 4 seconds as well. And it times out after 5 seconds now. Okay, Consuming Blaze. Ignite all nearby enemies for 5 seconds. You do damage per second, and you instantly heal for a bit of health per target hit. Attacks against ignited heroes reapply the debuff, instant heal, and refresh the dot duration. That's a pretty big change to Mr. Cho over here. So your Q, you begin to charge up the fist, you can dash again. It increases the range. Yeah, this is a big deal though. So you do a big explosion, does damage over time. You heal whenever you set someone on fire. Then basic attacks against them reignite them. So you get a heal every time you basic attack them, and you refresh that dot. That's very cool, actually. I like that a lot. Nice gameplay there. Rune Bomb now continues on its path regardless of when or if Gall decides to detonate it. All right, cool. And then you've got your new trait, which is Ogre Hide. You can activate to gain armor. Twilight Hammer damage slightly reduced. That's not too important. Okay, let's take a look at his talents then. What options does Cho have? You have Consuming Fire. Your Consuming Blaze heals for 150% more when a hero is ignited, so way more healing continuously against heroes. Fuel for the Flames. Every minion killed near Cho increases the amount healed by Consuming Blaze by 0.2%. Every hero takedown increases the amount of healing by Consuming Blaze by 2%, and this seems to just scale indefinitely. Or Calloused Hide. Ogre Hide also increases healing received by 15%. So a bunch of basically healing options at level 1. Uppercut at level 4 then. Searching Fist deals additional damage to heroes equal to 7% of their max health. Whoa. Alright, 7% max HP damage on your Q. Roll back. Rune Bomb will continue to travel and roll back to Cho, damaging enemies in its path. Or Seared Flesh. Each consecutive basic attack to an enemy hero does 20% more damage to a maximum 60% damage. This bonus lasts 5 seconds until a different enemy's attack. So you can definitely have like just like going ham punching a hero here, stacking up damage, healing yourself every time, and then healing more when they're ignited. That could be kind of interesting. Very, very interesting. You've got Power Surge. Each hero hit by Surging Fist reduces cooldown by 4 seconds. Fire Starter. Basic attacks against ignited heroes decrease the cooldown of Consuming Blaze by 1 second and passively reduce the cooldown of Consuming Blaze by 3 seconds. So way more W's going off. Very interesting. And Ranged Regeneration. While Gall's Ogre Rage is active, your health regen is increased by 200%. Alright, so that sort of complements Gall's version, which was his abilities recharge faster. I think it's on the same talent tier. Ogre Rampage. They recharge faster for 5 seconds after he activates Ogre Hide. Kind of cool stuff. Level 10, these are pretty sure the exact same thing. Yeah, looks like it. Level 13, Frenzied Fists. Gain 75% attack speed for 5 seconds after using your Q. Runic Feedback. The Rune Blast, the explosion from the bomb, reduces the bomb cooldown by 1 second per enemy hit and 2 seconds for each hero hit. Runed Gauntlet then. Basic attacks reduce the cooldown of Cho and Gall's heroic abilities by ½ a second. Very intriguing. Very intriguing. Surging Dash. While channeling Surging Fist, you're unstoppable and you heal for 150 health per second. Twilight Veil then. Activate to increase the armor bonus of Ogre Hide by 300% for 2 seconds. If cast while Ogre Rage is activated, it instantly swaps to Ogre Hide. So that's triple thing. So it's normally... That's like a lot. You're normally 25%, so that's like 100% armor bonus? But it can't. Does it cap out? I'm not sure. Or is it just 75 armor for 2 seconds? Okay, or Molten Block. Activate to gain stasis and be invulnerable for 3 seconds. A 60-second cooldown. Interesting. Very interesting. Very interesting. At level 20... range, so targets. Upheaval is now going to root enemy heroes for 1.5 seconds. So pulls them in, normally slows them and does some damage. Now it's going to pull them in and root them in place. The Will of Cho. Takedowns permanently increase the armor of Ogre Hide by 2 to a max of 50 extra armor. Okay. Or Hour of Twilight. Decrease Cho'Gall's death timer by 50%. Alright, cool. Alright, very interesting stuff they're doing with the talents for Cho and for Gall. Let's zoom back up here a little bit. So developer comments, I think this is the same for Cho and Gall. When we first told about the new event, 2 heads are better than 1, immediately set to work on giving Cho'Gall's talent trees a much needed facelift. A lot of our warriors were getting armor updates in this patch, and originally Cho'Gall was no exception. After playing with the generic form of it internally, we realized we had a once in a Nexus opportunity to do something very different and seized the moment. The foundation of the Cho'Gall rework revolves around their new traits, Ogre Hide and Ogre Rage, which are the keys to success with the hero. The potential of Cho'Gall should be greater than ever, but you have to make sure both heads are working together in order to maximize your damage output while keeping yourself alive long enough to keep doing it. Sounds very interesting, I've got to say. Alright, let's check out the other heroes. Again, guys, just to remind you once again to subscribe if you haven't already. Stay tuned because I will cover, of course, all of these big reworks in videos coming out over the next few days. Metamorphosis will now clamp the cast to the maximum range of the ability. Alright, that's fine. Kerrigan summon Ultralisk. Longer cooldown feels bad, but the cooldown counts down while it's alive. Okay, how long does it live for? It's like the most useless ability ever, so I don't know. Oh, lasts for 20 seconds. 10-second longer cooldown. But hey, if it lasts the full 20 seconds, it's sort of cooling down. I suppose it works well with this as well. You could have it just up all the time. Oh, it's so useless. Anyway, whatever. Rainer's Raiders. This one kind of sounds kind of good, though. Increase the health a little bit. And about 10% more health on them. And a little bit over 10% more damage as well. So making that a more appealing heroic. It's actually not a terrible heroic. So that one could see a bit more play. Kind of interested to see that one. Zildjian, you want Axe. The buff tracker shows a specific number for heroes hit and how many hits are required to complete the quest reward. Okay, just a bit more clarity there. Alright, Varian then in multi-class. Taunt, the health gain. You only get 40% more max health now, but you also get 15 armor. It's probably a buff overall. Probably a buff, so you get a good chunk less health, but you get 15 armor. Interesting. Banner of Ironforge, you only get 20 armor now instead of 25. Very intriguing stuff. Very intriguing stuff. Specialist then, Asmodan. Demonic Invasion will now remove minions lingering from the previous cast. That's a real long cooldown, right? I'm like, how often are there ones left from the previous cast? It's a 100-second cooldown. Are they still alive 100 seconds later? Well, if you were somehow exploiting that, no longer. Nuh-uh. You will not be able to put them somewhere and then 100 seconds later cast a second one and have loads. They're gonna disappear. Oh well. Taste for Blood. Killing a hero with the globe will now increase his damage by 10. That's his level 1 talent here. This one. So normally killing enemy minions, you get 2 bonus damage with the Q. Now heroes will give you 10 bonus damage. So helping you stack that up a bit more. Alright, nice. Gazlowe. Gazlowe has received a big rework. Let's take a look at that. So new ability, Focus Turrets. You can order turrets to focus an enemy. I wonder if we can see that in game. Here. You cannot see it here in this options. But yeah, so you can now, it was previously part of Robogoblin. You could now just say, I want targets to shoot this person, and they will do so. Pretty nice. Your turrets, their range is increased a little bit. Their damage is down, though, about 10%. Your Death Laser, your W, you can channel indefinitely, and you can cancel it for a full refund by right-clicking. So your Death Laser takes 3 seconds to charge up. It gets bigger. It does more damage. You can now just stay there with the laser charged up, just ready to shoot for as long as you want. You can then just use a move command to cancel it. You get all the mana back. You get the full cooldown back. So you're completely free to go and cast it again. So a bit more of like ambush Gazlowe. Be a bit more of a bully in the lane, that sort of thing. Kind of interesting change right there. Explodium Charge, the cast range is way up from 6.5 to 10, so very long range now on the stuns that you can throw down. Robogoblin, you don't get focused turrets, that's just default. And it doesn't give you bonus PvE damage now, it just gives you double basic attack damage and a new activatable ability to get 30 armor and 30 move speed for 4 seconds on a 60-second cooldown. The new Robogoblin, double damage basic attacks and 30 armor, 30% move speed. And yeah, let's dive into his talents. Level 1, I think this is the same. I think this is the same, and I think this is the same. Goblin Repairs is new here at level 1. Gathering a regen globe gives you regen, 1 per second, up to 25. And after getting 25 regen globes, you get an additional 15 health regen per second. So loads of HP regen for Gazlowe, potentially with that. Clockwork Steam Fist, I believe, is the same. We got Arc Reactor. I don't know his talents well enough. I should just read them all in case there's new ones and I would miss it. Reduces the Explodium Charge cooldown by 2 seconds. And if it hits an enemy, you get 2 charges of rocket turrets. Very interesting with the longer range as well. Enemy minions that die nearby can have a chance to drop scrap. And hired goons, friendly non-boss mercenaries, deal 50% more damage. And then your turrets get 50 armor against minions and mercenaries. So that's kind of intriguing, like a personalized Merc King? Is that what it's called? Merc King? Something like that? Merc Lord, Mercenary Lord, that's what it's called. Personalized one for Gazlowe, built around the turrets. Kind of cool. Level 7, we got the extra large turrets, we got the engine gunk and hyper focus coils. The mana cost of Death Laser is reduced by 30 and it charges twice as fast. I think it's about half cost. So half mana and double speed charging on the W. Kind of interesting talent here there. That's quite a good talent here actually. Then level 10, we got the new Robogoblin. Grapple Bomb still the same. Level 13, we've got the easy peasy Dimensional Ripper. It slows heroes by 50%, your W, and freezes non-heroes for 3 seconds. Goblin Fusion, you can charge your Death Laser for additional second to double the damage. Or then Extra Large Bombs, increases the bomb radius by 30%, just all the time. And then being stunned or rooted, drops a bomb at Gazlowe's feet on a 10-second cooldown. I thought this one was really interesting, really cool. It stunned Gazlowe. Hey, there's a bomb dropped at his feet. Alright. Level 16, we got turret storage, still the same. Superior schematics, now your turrets have longer range when he's within their attack range. Pretty interesting stuff. So you don't get the bonus damage, but you do get the even more range on the turrets now. Or quick release charge, you get a second charge of your bombs. And then level 20, Mecha Lord, you passively get 25 armor. Your basic attacks do an additional 100% damage. And that's it. It's a bit nuts. Miniature Black Hole, I think it's the same. I believe all these things are the same as well. So yeah, there's the Gazlowe talents. It looks kind of cool. It looks kind of cool. I don't know if he'd be any good. Definitely like kind of building in sort of semi-sprint baseline plus some armor. And then being better against heroes. Maybe. Robogoblin could actually see more serious use. You lose a bit of that PvE damage, but get more flexibility for actual team fights, which is interesting. Definitely interesting. I'm excited to actually try him out and give him, giving Gazlowe a bit more flavor and personality in comparison to Probius, kind of trying to differentiate the two. Not exactly sure where this goblin keeps getting the hordes of gold he needs to bribe the design team, but sure enough, he has done it again. The changes to him started off as quality of life fixes, but eventually evolved into something of a minor rework. Overall, we tried to even out the power level of a couple of talent tiers, including his heroics, while bringing in a swash of baseline changes in order to make him feel a bit more user-friendly. We realised his win rate is above average in certain MMR brackets and game modes, I think quick match, and that this may be viewed as a substantial buff to him. However, we felt it was important to bring these changes to our players, and we're prepared to act quickly if any tweaks are needed. That is so funny to me. He's such a bad hero at high-level Hero League, and certainly pro play even worse. But yeah, they're worried that he's going to be OP in quick match, so get your quick match games on, guys, and own it up with Gazlowe, apparently. Let's take a look at the Warriors. Maybe this would make a bit more sense to me. Developer comments, we're currently doing a pass on our Warriors. We want to better separate those that are intended to be able to solo tank for their team and those who are better identified as bruisers. Interested that they want to make this a bigger distinction. I felt like they were moving away from that in the previous patches, but they're full on going back into it. I feel like, I don't know. I really do feel like they were moving away from that kind of recently. You know, with, you know, Dehaka and Arthas changes, stuff like that. But, apparently not. Apparently not. With armor coming into the game, we also saw an opportunity to make our warriors have unique roles for their team so that the strongest or most survivable few weren't identified and always favored, regardless of team compositions. In this patch, taking a pass with Arthas and Anub'Arak, once again, to better embrace their roles as solo warriors for the team. So trying to make them more solo tank warriors. Both have received significant changes, largely with the theme of adding control and or survivability to their kit at the cost of their damage. You know that players enjoy putting out that DPS. We think this is a healthier direction for the game and should make the decision of which warrior to bring to a team more meaningful. Also hoping that this direction helps push against the trend of it being the correct choice to bring multiple warriors to a team, because some can bring both CC and survivability while also doing as much damage as our assassins. Again, I'm continue to be confused as to this bruiser role. Then if it's like we don't want multiple warriors, then why do you have two types of I don't know. Oh well, Blizzard, get your shit together. Anub'Arak though, his base spell armor only 20 now instead of 25, and his basic attack damage is a bit lower. His shield from W a bit stronger. Burrow charge actually quite a chunk off the cooldown. That's pretty nice. Added functionality that targets hit by it have their move speed slowed by 25% for 2.5 seconds. A little bit less damage. That's a pretty big deal. Much shorter cooldown, and then it applies a slow for when you hit targets with it. And then Locust Swarm, the damage is lower and the healing a little bit lower as well. Let's take a look at the talents for Anub'Arak. Alright, so level 1, we got Resilient Scarabs. Beetles have 50 spell armor. Nerubian armor, you only get 30 spell armor. It's basically like Dampened Magic, but way weaker. It's now 30. It used to be 50 spell armor. It's now 30 spell armor. Or Regen Master, which is the same. So that's kind of interesting. I'm definitely looking to try out a Beetle build with him. Level 4, very cool one. A lot of CC and control here. Bed of Barbs at level 4 now. You create a bed of spikes along your Impale's path. Slows enemies and does damage for a second. When they're on it, and the spikes persist for 3.5 seconds. You get Shed Exoskeleton, getting move speed whenever you use Hardened Carapace for 3 seconds, 30%. Mount speed, basically. Under King improves the range and damage of your Burrow charge by 20% range and 100% damage. Or Legion of Beetles, spawn a beetle every 8 seconds. At level 7, we've got Chitinous Plating. The same as it is already. We've got Subterranean Shield. This is new. Your Burrow charge gives you a 365 point shield for 5 seconds. It'll be interesting to see how that scales. Could be pretty damn good though. And then Leeching Scarabs. Again, this sort of aggressive Anub'Arak play. Leeching Scarabs. Beetles gain 20% bonus attack damage and heal Anub'Arak for 50% of their damage to each attack if he's nearby. So empowering your Beetles when you are nearby for more damage and to heal you up. Locust Swarm Cocoon are the same. Level 13 is like a damage tier. We got Burning Rage. Earthrocating Spine, still the same. And Acid Drench Mandibles, this is new. Attacking a hero that is slowed, rooted, or stunned increases Anub'Arak's basic attack damage by 70% for 3 seconds. It's like, give him the axe on steroids, basically. Remember, your Burrow charge now knocks them up and slows them. So you get multiple procs of Acid Drench Mandibles off that. You should get it off your Q as well. and then off any other heroes that happen to be in there. So this could be a very, very strong talent for some single target focus. Level 16, we've got Epicenter, increases the impact area of Burrow Charge and lowers the cooldown by 2 seconds for each hero hit. That could be pretty damn impactful now, especially that it applies to slow. It's even more important to land it. We've got Debilitation. Enemy heroes hit by Burrow Charge have their spell power reduced by 50% for 4 seconds. So you hit a mage with this, 50%, they do half damage for 4 seconds. That's on a 12-second cooldown. Pretty big deal. Bear in mind it will be somewhat hard to hit, but still, that's kind of crazy. Or Beetle Juice, every third basic attack against enemy hero spawns a beetle. And then level 20, Rewind still the same. These are still the same as well. Nullification Shield though, instead of Hardened Shield, which was, you were 75 armor for, was it 4 seconds? It's now 60 spell armor for 5 seconds. So you're now up to 80 spell armor by default. Again, I really don't know how all this stuff stacks my understanding. They're so unclear about this stuff. My understanding was there was a cap of 75, so getting 60 spell armor when you've got 20 by default doesn't make any sense if there's a cap for 75. So I don't know how all that stuff flicking works. But anyway, it's worse than Hardened Shield, that's for sure. It's good against spell damage, but not against basic attacks. Pretty interesting stuff, making Rewind a bit more appealing, methinks. And that is Anub'Arak. Alright. Let's see what they said about him. Anub'Arak has received some baseline changes and talent tweaks to embrace his role as an anti-caster warrior. New additions to his kit include lower cooldown and slowing Burrow Charge, buff to his Hardened Carapace shield amount, and some buffs to his Beetle build. Understandably, some players may be wondering why we lowered his spell armor when we want him to be an anti-caster. We felt that 25 base spell armor was a little too pointed in countering casters, as they have no real options to deal with it when it's on a hero baseline. Well, that's for sure. Giving him these changes, we're hoping to make him a more well-rounded warrior while still filling a niche that previously did not exist in our game. Yeah, I mean, he's one of those heroes that, you know, he's very niche and he had a massive win rate. So it's probably good that they're changing him. We'll see what these changes are like. I love Anub'Arak, so I'll definitely be playing him quite a lot, and I'll fill you guys in what I think with the changes when we cover that on the video, probably the next day or so. Arthas. So yeah, like I was saying, reduce the period during which Arthas is locked in place during his basic attacks. Be consistent with the heroes with similar attack timings. I don't know. And should hopefully make him a little bit better and smoother to play. I don't know. Arthas then. More health for Arthas. More health regen for Arthas. Slightly less basic attack damage. Frostborn Hunger now does 99 bonus damage when hitting enemies. So that's that. That's what it does. It's just, for some reason, 99 bonus damage. I presume that scales. I don't know. I presume it does. You heal a bit more from Death Coil by 10% more healing from Death Coil. Cool. Frozen Tempest, this is a big deal. His E, it does less damage per second now, but it slows enemy movement speed and attack speed by 10% per second up to 40%. It takes 4 seconds to stack it up fully. That's a really big attack speed and movement speed slow. The attack speed was formerly a talent, now it is just baseline. That's a really big deal. It's now an aura, same as Lucio's auras. If he's stunned or silenced, it does not cancel the ability, it keeps going. So that's a pretty huge deal. Stacking up like massive move speed and attack speed slows, making Arthas like just very, very scary to go up against in short range and melee range. You just get stuck and like just stuck to Arthas. Yeah, I think that's a really, really big deal. Army of the Dead, the cooldown is lowered, the mana cost is lowered, ghoul attack damage has been increased, and their health has been increased. So they made the best heroic for Arthas even better. Okay, thanks Blizzard. Thank you. All right, let's look at his talents. I don't know. Why? This is the one that needs the buffs. God damn it. Oh well. Level 1, Eternal Hunger. I think this is the same. Every time you land Frostborn Hungers on a hero, increases the mana it restores and its damage a little bit. Actually, I think they just made this like it's more like a consistently scaling thing. I think before it would restore more mana, and then when you finish the quest, it gave you the damage. Now it's just going to steadily increase, something like that. Frost Presence, this is kind of crazy. A big quest. Root enemy heroes with your Howling Blast, your W. After 5 heroes, reduce the cooldown by 2 seconds. By default, it's a 10-second cooldown. Makes it an 8-second cooldown. After rooting 10 heroes, its range is increased by 30%. After rooting 20 heroes, it roots enemies along its path. Then we have Rhyme. Every 5 seconds you get 60 physical armor against the next enemy basic attack, and reduce the damage taken. Yeah, okay, so and it's got 3 charges, so you can have 3 charges of block now. He has, I think, 10 physical armor default anyway, so yeah, I mean, it's just really good block. It's very good against basic attackers. Level 4 then, we've got Frozen Waste, which is a quest. By default, reduce the mana cost by 4 per second. I think I said it. So it's 15 per second. This makes it 11 per second. It's a quest to damage enemy heroes within Frozen Tempest. After damaging enemy heroes 150 times within your Frozen Tempest, the movement and attack speed slows lasts an additional second and a half against enemy heroes after they leave the aura. That's pretty cool. Icy Talons, this one is kind of cool too. Gain 3% attack speed for 1.5 seconds every time a hero is damaged by Frozen Tempest to a maximum of 60%. So just like, if they got a bunch of melee heroes on top of Arthas and they're staying in this Frozen Tempest, they all get slowed down, their attack speed gets slower, and he just starts attacking faster and faster and faster. I think it's a really cool thematic thing for Arthas. I love this. I don't know how good it's going to be or bad it's going to be. I have no idea, but I just think it's awesome. Death Lord reduces the cooldown of your Q by 3 seconds, improves its range by 30%. Level 7 then, Rune Tap. Every third base attack, still the same, heals you 4%. Obviously, scales pretty well with Icy Talons. Mortal Coil, you get a heal when you use Death Coil on an enemy, and if you use it on yourself, get 50% more healing. That might still be the same. Icebound Fortitude then, get 25 armor, and reduce the duration of stun, so that's the same as well. Level 10, Army of the Dead, now the only legitimate choice. Sorry. Shattered Armor, level 13 W. Enemy heroes hit by Helling Blast have their armor reduced by 15 for 4 seconds, so you root them, reduces their armor. Very nice combo, obviously, with Frost Presence, potentially hitting multiple heroes with that. Pretty cool. Frost Strike reduces the cooldown of Frostborn Hungers by 2 seconds. It's a very long cooldown, actually, 12 seconds. Yeah, I should reduce that a little bit more, I think. But anyway, it reduces by 2 seconds, and it also slows the enemy by 50% for a second and a half. Or Biting Cold, each second an enemy is damaged by Frozen Tempest, it deals more damage, up to 50% bonus damage. That seems probably the best one. Maybe this one, though. I don't know. That's pretty good. Yeah, I don't know about that one. Anyway, level 16 then, Remorseless Winter. I think it's the same. If they stay in Frozen Tempest for 3 seconds, they're rooted. Obviously synergizing pretty nicely with like Icy Talons and with Biting Cold. Cool. Frostborn Feeds. Get 2 basic attacks empowered by Frostborn Hungers. I mean, maybe Frostborn Hungers is going to hit much harder now. I'm not sure. I don't know. And then Embrace Death. You do more damage and healing. The lower your health is, up to double, which is nice. Liesl Northrend, I think, is the same. Absolute Zero is the same. Death's Advance is the same. And Anti-Magic Shell, I think that's the same. Yeah. Pretty sure they're all the same. I don't think there's any changes there. Oh, maybe. It's no longer spell armor, you just take no damage from spells and heal for 25% of the damage prevented. I think that's the same though, it's just reworded. For a long time, Arthas has walked the line between being a bruiser and a tank, though it was always intended that he'd be more of a tank as opposed to a bruiser. With armor in the game, we saw the opportunity to really embrace him being that slow approach of death that he encapsulated so well in Wrath of the Lich King. Arthas' crowd control capability and survivability have been significantly increased, and now he should really shine as the warrior to bring if the enemy team has multiple melee heroes or those who rely strongly on their auto attacks. In return for his extra control in teamfights, his damage has been reduced. While he will not put out damage as quickly as before, his ability to kill enemies will now rely much more on how long he can keep them in his Frozen Tempest, as once they're in it, it'll be very difficult for them to escape without some kind of mobility. Yeah. So Arthas is going to be a pretty scary hero, guys. I think it's going to be pretty damn scary. We've already looked at Johanna. This is actually a big change to Johanna. 25 physical armor, but way less health. Big hit to her health regen. Reinforce is now weaker. Amplified healing is gone. Spell shield is gone. So Johanna. Actually, fairly big changes to her. There's a whole bunch of physical armor. Reinforce is now weaker, so you store some armor, but definitely not as appealing as it once was. I really don't know why they didn't change Righteous Smash, because it's so unbelievably shit. But Regen Master now much more appealing than Reinforce. Like compared to where they used to be. I don't know, maybe Reinforce will still be the go-to, I'm not sure. But yeah, 25 armor baseline's a pretty big deal. Level 4, obviously, Amplified Healing is gone. Lots of Hope's still there. And level 13 Spell Shield is gone. But don't worry, you can still get Subdue hype, right? Anyway, it's a weird thing. I feel like, I'm not sure, obviously they're fairly confident in her talent tree, so they didn't change her more. I think more changes might be somewhat justified because she has such a cookie cutter talent tree. I don't know, we'll see how it goes. Terial also been changed quite a bit. He now has 15 spell armor. His base health is down about 10%, and his health regen down about 10% as well. And your Q will now clamp to the max range of the ability. So hang on though, because there are some more bigger changes here, and this is actually the last hero we're going to look at. Amplified Healing for Terial is gone. And initially, I would say overall, 15 spell armor is well worth losing. Like 10% max HP, I think that's really good. Lose 10% max HP, but take 15% less damage from abilities. And then that works so well with like healing and everything like that. That's a win for him overall. But Imposing Will is gone. One of the best talents at level 13. Completely gone. Imposing Will was whenever an enemy hero dealt damage to you.
Detected.
New follower, excellent. Solax 8. Whenever an enemy hero dealt damage to you while your shield was active, it slowed their attack speed and movement speed by 50%. It was insanely strong at level 13. That's now gone. That is now gone. But hey, you get like 8 more healing from Angelic Absorption. So hey, get hyped, guys. Get hyped. You enemies that attack Terial while shielded, they give you health over time. So that's actually a pretty big hit to him. Level 20 as well. Hardened Shield is gone. Now you get Nullification Shield. You get 60 spell armor for 5 seconds. That's a pretty big nerf overall. So I think Terial has actually been nerfed. Kind of hard. At first I was like, ooh, Terial buffs. And then I was like, oh shit. Well, they got rid of Imposing Will, which is so strong. And then Hardened Shield being gone too. That's pretty rough. It's a pretty rough change. Obviously pushing him much more into like a anti-spellcaster sort of role with Sanctification. I think he'd still be a good hero, but maybe not quite as good. I think that's definitely a nerf, losing like his best talent at 13 and losing the best talent at 20, basically. But anyway, then we got some bugs and stuff fixed. I don't think there's anything too important here. To be honest, I never bother reading those. I'm too lazy. But there you go, guys. That is a look at all of the updates coming in the patch. Pretty exciting stuff. This is Probius, by the way. Gonna do a video on him coming up next. High estimated wait time. How long is it? It's not too bad. It's not too bad. All right, cool. Well, I'm gonna go get working on that. Thank you guys for tuning in. I hope you found it interesting and exciting. Big reworks, so do stay tuned. Like I said, subscribe if you haven't already. We're gonna be looking at Anub'Arak. We're gonna be looking at Arthas. Very excited for that one. Very excited. We're gonna look at Cho. We'll look at Gazlowe. Might take Johanna for a spin. Maybe even Terial. We'll see. Probius, of course. Was that everyone? That might have been everyone. There are so many changes. This is a big ass patch. I think that was all the main ones, right? Pretty sure. But yeah, I'm pretty excited to try all this stuff out. Oh, I forgot. I almost forgot. The Gazlowe. He's not even got a high Q time. Wow. No one cares about Gazlowe. Feels bad. Alright guys, I'm gonna go play some PTR. Talk to you all soon. Thank you for watching. Bye bye.